Hello, everyone. Welcome to Storytime with Miss Diamond. I am Miss Diamond, and here at Storytime, we read a different story every episode. Stories are a great way for you to learn about what happens in a particular scenario and maybe allow those scenarios to offer you a look at what happens in your own life sometimes. So sit back, relax, and listen. Listen carefully, and at the end, you can answer a few questions about the story. Are you ready? Today's story is The Grasshopper and the Ants. All through the long summer days, the ants had worked away gathering food to store for the winter days when snow lay deep on the ground. As they gathered their food and put it in their storehouse, the idle grasshopper looked at them and laughed. "Poor fools," he called. "Why do you work when the sun is high in the sky? This is time for singing and playing." The ants paid no attention to that grasshopper. They went on and worked hard, collecting enough food to see them through the long winter days and nights that lie ahead. As they did so, the grasshopper lay in the sun, singing happily and dancing. But in the end, the summer went away. Winter ruled in the land, covering everything with snow and ice. There was no food to be seen anywhere. That grasshopper, who had stored no food for himself in the summer months, he was starving. He limped along to the storehouse where the ants had stored their food. "What do you want?" asked the ants as they carried on sweeping, tidying up, and storing their food. The ants were always busy working. "I am very hungry," begged the grasshopper. "Please give me some of the food that you stored away, or I will starve to death." "You should have thought of that in the summer when you were dancing and playing," said the ants. "If you spent the summer singing, then maybe you should spend the winter dancing and not bother about starving at all." The ants were pretty harsh with that grasshopper. The ants would not give the grasshopper a single scrap of their food, and that grasshopper went away sad and hungry. So let's recap the story, boys and girls. During the summer, when the sun was out, the ants were busy working. Miss Diamond imagines that they weren't working the entire time. They had some fun, but they made sure every day they stored away some food in the storehouse so that when the winter months came, they would be prepared and have food. The grasshopper was so busy enjoying himself, dancing away in the grass all day and all night, and didn't give a care about the winter coming up. So when it came, the grasshopper was starving and the ants had plenty. And those ants wouldn't share because they warned the grasshopper. They warned him to put some food away, winter was coming, but that grasshopper didn't listen. And instead, he went and begged the ants to share their food. What do you think about that, children? Do you think that's okay? Do you think that the ants should have shared some of their food with the grasshopper? Or do you think that it was right for the grasshopper to go and ask the ants for their food? It's something to think about. How would you apply this in your life? When it's time for you to study for the test coming up next month, do you spend your time studying? Do you make sure you put away a few minutes every day to study for your upcoming tests and exams so that when test day comes, you are prepared? Or are you like the grasshopper and say, "Oh, I didn't realize that today was the test day. Can you share your notes with me? Can you share your answers with me?" It really comes down to a choice we all have, children. We have the choice to prepare ahead of time, or we have the choice to not prepare, and then we get the consequences that come with that. Do you know what consequences are, boys and girls? Consequences are what happens as a result of something else. In this story, the grasshopper did not store away any food. The consequence was that he starved in winter. Miss Diamond just wants you to think about consequences when you make your actions. Sometimes you can make actions that will bring about consequences you don't like. For example, if you fight at school, you may have consequences of being suspended or not being able to go on a school trip. And there are positive consequences. If you do your chores at home and make good grades in school, you may get an allowance. And those would be consequences that you enjoy. Miss Diamond suggests that you think about every little thing you do, everything, big and small, and know that everything that you do does have some consequence. Some people call it karma. Some people call it sowing and reaping. There are many names for it. But Miss Diamond believes that what goes around eventually comes around. Well, that's our story for today, The Grasshopper and the Ants. I really hope that you enjoyed that story. If so, will you show me and everyone that you did by hitting the subscribe button? And also give the video a thumbs up. That lets me know that you are enjoying these episodes. Miss Diamond loves you very much. A big virtual hug to all of the children out there watching. Thank you so much. See you next time on another episode of Storytime with Miss Diamond. Bye-bye.